Just let Ian know when it's already started live, so we can get
Okay.
it on the thing.
Okay.
Yo! Ah! I'm going to do it on the radio show. Send your recipe here, man. Same as the boxing fight. Boxing, same as well. Yeah. Just finishing up the songs.
Extreme Entertainment is twice in your show.
That's fine.
Cool.
Yeah. Okay.
The Big Station is your #1 choice for old school and the biggest back in the day and roulette jazz. Check out Old School Friday. Old School Fridays in the morning and Friday flashbacks with Johnny Bassett and Throwback Mondays. We're doing it back old school. All popping up right here on your big station, Power 95, 94.9 FM. 94.9 Bermuda. Power Our 95. On the move, on the move, and on the World Wide Web. On the World Wide Web.
It is sports. That's a good point. It is
It
sports.
is. Does that like that one?
It is
Oh,
sports.
wow.
Hey,
Yeah.
it happens. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's
All
right.
right, good stuff.
Loud
Good
and clear.
afternoon. I'm Ian Rollins, along with Mr. Earl Basin on Inside Sports Talk Radio this afternoon. It is Monday, October 23rd, 2017. Got a good lineup of guests that will be joining us in the studio today. We have, first of all, Mr. Neil Pennington, the president of St. George's Cricket Club, who's running a tight schedule today, so he'll be with us momentarily at the bottom of the hour, because his schedule is very tight, we understand that. We also have representatives from the Bermuda Football Association who reflect, obviously, the Bermuda team making it to the finals of the under-17 girls in India. They went down 4-1 last night, but making it to the finals is a big accomplishment for Bermuda and obviously for the Bermuda Football Association. And in addition to that, we will have Mr. Mark Simons and 4 representatives from the Bermuda Bodybuilding Federation who discuss their success they had overseas. 1 or 2 members received a pro card, so they'll be in the studio joining with us, explaining their experience of what was like competing and preparing, obviously, for an event that it's a lone event, a single event, all by yourself. You have to put in the time and effort, and then discussing those successful stories and, of course, what's in store for 2018. Good afternoon to you, Mr. Basin.
Good afternoon, Mr. Rollins. How are you?
I'm good. All is good.
All is well.
Big smile on your face. Why is
A
that?
lot of smiles. A lot of sports.
A lot of sports.
Yeah, a lot of smiles, a lot of sports.
Yeah, you had a good weekend of sports.
A ton of sports.
Good. My weekend wasn't great, I'm going to be honest. I lost 8-1. Trojans went down 4-0 Friday night, PAT.
12-2. Okay.
Oh, and Liverpool went 4-1 down to Tottenham yesterday.
So 12-3.
I still don't get it.
And you for Bermuda, they lost 4-1.
Well, yes, in that regard. I said that earlier in the top. I thought you were talking about the club. I'm sorry.
No,
Club. Yeah, sorry.
Club or club?
Club or
Club?
professional.
Club?
You gotta be careful because he might be out of a job soon. As you see, Everton fired their manager.
I know what they expect. What they expect?
Who? Which one?
Ronald
Everton?
Koeman. Yeah,
Well, remember he got him to 7th place last year.
Okay.
And so they were riding high and gave him $200 million to spend. He got a few players in, but what they didn't really do is secure a striker when Lukaku said he's not going to resign. And that's where the strength and weakness was in the striking position.
Okay.
But I'm not an Everton fan, so it really doesn't faze me.
Next door neighbor.
That's not me. I'm still suffering, though. I'll be honest about that. I'm still suffering. I'm in 7th or 8th.
When did you guys switch coaches? Send your coach over there.
Well, I don't know who Everton has right now.
You just got rid of him. It's a vacancy.
Oh, it's a vacancy, right? So how can I switch coach of Everton if they fire?
No, it's a vacancy. You send yours over there, and
I see.
he'll come over.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, I thought you were going to take Everton's coach right now. Forgive me. Well, now I'll stick with Klopp. Klopp just needs to take some aspirin and understand that you just can't attack. Football's not played that way.
Good.
You know that. I know that.
They attacked the other night and scored how many goals?
Yeah, but this is Premier League. This is a team that's out in Russia that Putin doesn't even know about. You know?
Donald Trump's team?
That's a possibility.
Okay.
Right?
He invests in that team too?
And he tweeted it out probably. Number 45. He probably tweeted that out as well. This is my team in Russia.
Okay.
But nevertheless, I wasn't banking on that success of 7-0. They even played Tottenham on Sunday and expect to score 47 goals. He gave up 4 goals. I admit that. So no.
You heard from Moreno?
No, I haven't. So I owe him a fish sandwich. He always owes me 2. So
Okay.
now he really owes me 1.
Okay, yeah, that was sorted out last week.
Right,
Yeah,
I was sorted out, so he owes me 1.
Okay.
So I'll get back on him, trust me, when they play at Enfield. So it's all right. I'm cool. I'm still there. But look, I know my friend, the president of St. George's, Neil Pennington, I got a busy schedule, so let's start with him right now. Good afternoon to you, sir. How are you doing?
Hey, good afternoon, Ian Earl.
Sunday.
You got a big event. St. George's is celebrating. I can't remember the exact years, but you can correct me on that. Big event coming up November 11th, St. George's Cricket Club, Black Tie Affair. Explain to us what it's all about.
Yeah, well, it's Founders Week. We are celebrating 125 years of existence, and it actually starts November 3rd with a week of events, and it culminates with the President's Ball, which will be on November 11th at the Hampton Princess Hotel.
That's huge. 125 years?
125.
So I expect a big turnout because St. George's is big in supporting their club. So this is an event it's a magnitude black tie affair. What can we expect also on that night?
Well, actually, it's a blue tie affair.
Blue tie.
But you can wear black ties.
Let me figure out why it's a blue tie affair.
You don't need to figure it out.
And the theme is 125 years not out. That's the theme for this year. And what we do is usually honor, like the past one, we did honor our former presidents.
Okay.
This time we'll be honoring 2 of our former members, former executives,
Okay.
along with some other awards and presentations. We have entertainment for the night, and many other things that will be going on. Okay.
Now, if someone's listening right now, their time is still of essence. They want to get tickets. Are they going to be online, or you have to purchase them through members, or they're available at the club?
Yeah, the tickets are available at the Cricket Club or from myself and other committee members. They are $150 regular and $200 for patrons. Patrons, obviously, they get paid along with the ticket as well.
Got that, Mr. Basin?
I got that, Mr. Well.
200 one I'm talking about.
I heard it, Mr. Well.
Okay, so you got blue every day.
Yes, I did, Mr. Well.
Right. But okay, back to me. It seems like it's going to be a genuine night, and an event that you guys have been putting on for a number of years, from November 3rd to
November 11th.
November 11th, and it's going to be at the Hamilton Princess. At what time? I'm sorry?
Starting at 6:30.
6:30.
After cocktails, and then we go into the main event after that.
Wow.
We have a 4-course meal and everything involved in that. And we did it. We had our 123rd 2 years ago. We had the Hampton Princess, which was a huge success. We had 200 guests, and we're hoping this time we're hoping at least 300. So that's what we have provided for.
So it's every other year, or
we do it during the Cup next year.
yes, it's every year. Okay, that's cool. That makes sense.
But our Founders Week is we have that every year.
Right, but the event of
This event of this one is.
What are,
Yes.
what are the significant things you're having outside of the November 11th event that will start the week and go through?
Yeah. On Friday, November 3rd, we're having a youth night up here in the 1892 Lounge at St. George's Cricket Club for our youngsters. We're going to be watching a movie, fun, food, and everything for them. On the Saturday, on the 4th, we're going to the Sylvia Richards to do some community service between 10 and 1 p.m. On the Sunday, we'll have a church service at the Richard Avenue Church. The Tuesday the 7th, it's our games night at the club. All are welcome. We have games, refreshments, and the like. On the Thursday night, we're having a members happy hour and our league cricket prize giving at the same time. And obviously on the Saturday, we'll have the President's Ball, the blue tie affair.
You have a question?
Well, you really tell me something else again.
No.
I know you got a question.
I always have a question, but I didn't want to interrupt.
Again.
It seems like it's well organized, and you said it's held every other year. You do it on the years that you guys host Cup match. You said numbers wise, looking for close to 300.
Yeah, our room held 220 last time, and we filled that up.
Wow.
This time we got the Harvard Ballroom, which I think can hold up to 300. So, if we get 300, we're happy.
Right.
So we're just hoping that members and friends come out and support the event.
Any special guests you bring in from overseas or anything?
No, everything is locally.
Okay.
We have a guest speaker this year. Last year we didn't have a guest. 2 years ago we didn't have a guest speaker because we did almost like a history lesson. We did a chronological timeline from 1892 up to now with all the presidents and gave some historical background of the club. This time we're honoring 2 members who have been staunch members in our club, have been on the executive before, so we're just honoring them and just showing our appreciation for what they have done for the club.
You care to share those 2 names, or?
Yeah, I have no problem sharing those names. One is Calvin Caledonia Smith. He was a colorful man at the time.
Very much so.
And the other one is Gregory Brutus Fogo.
Yes.
We'll be honoring. They will be honorees for the night.
Okay.
Brutus, I know you're listening. You're censored for the night. Very much so. Remember that. Going up there. It's going to be tough. But, Neil, talk about the support you get from Somerset and the support you give Somerset, the 2 clubs, when it comes to events such as the President's Ball.
Yes, both clubs, we have a wonderful relationship. We do battle on the field when it comes to football and cricket, but when it comes to holding events at each of our clubs, we support them very much. The last event we had 2 years ago, they supported us. We also, Mr. Mayor was a guest at my table, and they'll be doing the same this year. We have Somerset members, especially Molly, very supportive. She has her table already. So they'll be supporting us. And to me, it just only goes to show the history that we have together. And we have really, and I would say over the last 15 to 17, say 20 years, it has even gotten even closer. Because I remember the days when we used to battle in those meeting rooms,
Yes,
right?
yeah.
Boardrooms,
Yes.
you know, even those meetings have become more cordial,
Right.
and we're working for a common goal. It's not so much us against them or them against us. It's us working together to produce a great product.
So you're looking at the fact that you got the two. What are some of the other What are some of the other things on the night that people can look forward to? You say that you're going to be honoring the two long-serving
Yes.
or community members. What are some of the other people or things you'll be doing on that night that people can look forward to?
Well, we have some. When I say I don't want to give away too much right now.
Okay.
We have some local people who will be presenting there on the night with some entertainment,
Mm-hmm.
different things like that. Like I said, we have a live band, and we also give a historical lesson, so to speak, within that event. You know, so and I don't want to give too much away.
Okay. All right.
You know
all
what I
right.
mean? But those are the types of things that we come in. Obviously, there's fine food,
Mhm.
you know, music, and we just enjoy ourselves. You know, it's just to celebrate all our accomplishments throughout the year.
How many more years you got as a leader?
As I say,
I mean,
I have said. I mean, honestly, I'm at the discretion of the members.
Mhm.
For me, all I'm trying to do now is just sort of put things into place so
Mhm.
that when I do step away, that things are just continuing on
Mhm.
as they are, not just as they are, but improving.
Right.
You know, I how can I put this? I mean, it's coming to an end.
Right.
When I say that, not that I'm disappointed in anything, but I just feel, you know, it's time for me.
It's close. It's close to time.
Yeah, it's close.
Oh, okay.
How many years you've served? That's far.
As the president,
president, yes.
15.
Wow, that's a long time.
It'll be 16, and if I back in again, it'll be 16 next year.
So yeah, I said re-elections coming up.
Yeah, we have sometime in November, usually around the end of November, we have probably right after the president's vote.
Okay. So if you're re-elected, what's it, 2-year term or?
Right now, it's every year. We have elections every year. But we are revising our constitution, which is going to change where you'll have multi-year terms, i.e. 2-3 years. And I think that's important because it gives someone coming in some time to really put their plan into place and make progress. Because what you find in clubs, and it happens all the time, one administration comes in, and if the members feel some way, they get rid of them. You know, but sometimes they may not do a good job as well. And it may be, but you know, we just want to use best practices when it comes to running committees and clubs. So that's where our constitution will be in effect at our next election.
Yes, sir. 15 years. That's a long time.
That's just president.
That's president.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, they make it very clear.
Yes.
15 years as president of St. George's Cricket Club, and that's a renowned club in Bermuda. Right.
Yes.
Some St. George is on par with that. How were you able to withstand 15 years as president?
They say something's wrong with you.
You said it. I'm just asking the question.
No, but I never, even when I became president, I didn't envision being president.
Right.
It was not something I really thought about. And even in taking up the position at the time, because I was asked by members, I didn't think I'd be here this long. And I don't know if time's going by, but I think for me personally, it's just, I love my club.
Right.
So I just do what I do. I don't do it for any prestige. And they said, no, if you work in clubs, there's no real prestige
There's not.
when it comes to that. And I tell people what I'm doing today as far as talking on the radio is the easy part.
Yeah.
You know, communicating with the public, that's the easy part, you know. But I guess it's just a part of me. I grew up around the club. I played for the club, football, very little cricket, but mostly football. And I just enjoy what I do. It's taxing at times. And I'm getting to a stage now where I'm moving in different avenues in my life. So, you know, I have to reflect and say, well, you know, at some time I have to step aside.
What would you consider one of your major accomplishments over the time that you've been involved in the club? Not just as president, but overall.
And I haven't quite got that one yet. I'm going to say what it is. I haven't achieved it yet to its fullest. But I think the major thing, and when I look at the infrastructure of the club, I mean, obviously that upstairs auditorium was one of the major ones that we got done. But I believe it's getting the younger members on board. To me, that's a major accomplishment, getting them feeling a part of the club. And my main accomplishment for St. George's is to get our community to be more together.
Mm.
We are united and we are together, but as Earl would know, and I don't have to say, I love my St. George's people.
Mm.
And I think we can be a greater community if we just harness our resources together. And when I talk about the community, I'm talking about the business community, the churches, everything. If we come together and unite as one St. George's community, I think we can be even greater than what we are.
You mentioned earlier that you're looking to step down. You didn't give a time frame, and then obviously you want to run again. The elections coming up next month. If you run unopposed, then that's given there. Maybe 1 or 2 more terms, possibly.
Well, I believe in succession plans. I think that's important in clubs. The last thing I want to do is just walk away from this and just leave someone there and just say, well, it's my time. I have nothing else to do with the club. I intend on staying involved in the club even after not becoming president. But I want to ensure that the next person that comes in is ready for the position and he or she actually wants the position. I think that's going to be very important.
Will you take that person under your wing once you're re-elected next month? Because it sounds like to me, I'm going to look at it as maybe 2 years. And the reason I say 2, next year it's called mentioned Somerset. Year after in St. George's.
Yes.
So that's why I say 2 years. I'm throwing that out there. And you can say no to me right now.
That's giving away his hand.
Will you be grooming someone under your wing? It's not an easy task that you're taking on.
No, it's not an easy task, but I think in the art of grooming, it's grooming the whole collective committee.
Right.
Because I may see someone who could be a possible president in the making, but there may be someone within that group who could be the better one. And so I believe in just giving everyone the opportunity to just explore certain things within management, and then by then you will see if they are capable of doing their job. But at the end of the day, it's the members who choose.
That's true.
It's the members who choose, and I would just hope that whomever they decide to put as president, that they support him.
Whose idea was that the bowl held 2 years ago, and how long did it take for that to come to fruition? And now, 2 years later, you're having another one.
When I became president in 2002, yes, 2002, January of 2002. About a year later, I used to hear about President's Ball at RA Club.
Yeah.
I used to hear, and I was like, I want to have it. And I used to just lobby people, like senior members, what would they like? What would they like? They would this, what we've done. I said, okay. And I've been trying for many years. And just like the upstairs auditorium, and we had to open up the steps to get upstairs, and I was like, we're going to do it. We put a committee together, and we planned it 122 years ago. We planned it in 2 months. Cup match finished, 3 months. Cup match finished, and then we planned it, and it was a success. And I just vowed that if I have anything to do it, ideally we want to get to having it every year.
Right.
But it's more feasible for us to do it every other year. And the reason why we wanted to wait 2 years from the last time was because the next one was 125th. And I wanted to sort of plan that one and plan it right. So, I've always wanted to do it. I always heard about President's Ball, but I was too young to go to them at the time.
Right.
And they never had one while I had been involved in management. So I think it's important. I think it's very important. We used to have it in clubs. That's where they used to be. Obviously, the more the people who want to entertain and have as guests, we can't do that in our clubs. But, we can do that in a place that can hold that.
You had a vision, and obviously you stuck to your vision, you stuck to your plan during the 15-year tenure. What's in store for you for the next maybe 2 years?
In St. George's Cricket Club, I know one thing for us is it's a lot to do with our infrastructure. We want to eventually have lights at our facility. We also want to improve our educational program, which right now we're in the process. We're almost finished in getting that sort of up and good. I mean, we do have a youth program. We do have an educational program through our youth room, which was sponsored by Hammond, that we opened up 2 years ago at St. George's Cricket Club during the same time. But our main thing is to get an education center at the community. At St. George's Cricket Club, an education center. And in the event, and like I said, most important, I mentioned earlier, I just want to see George communities to come together. Because clubs were formed by families.
So true.
They were formed by families. The churches were heavily involved in them, and then it branched away. And I would like to get more families involved in the club, and no family in particular. I think that because we were formed by families, I think it's only right that families come around, and be a part of it.
Well stated. Any final comments you'd like to add before we wrap up, sir?
No, I just would like to, if anyone wants to come to the President's Ball, I'm encouraging you to come to the President's Ball. And if you're not able to make that event, if you can make one of the events at our club, so that you can see some of the good things that we are trying to do down there at St. George's Cricket Club. If you need tickets, my number is 734-7544, or you can call the Cricket Club and obtain your tickets. So we welcome you to the Blue Tie Affair, 125 years, not out.
I like that. 125 years, blue tie, red and blue tie. I mean, not this blue, but just red and blue. No, congratulations, and we wish you all the best on the 11th for the event itself. And again, I wish you all the best in November. I'd like to see you back as president and basically serve another 2 years, and even longer if you can. But you have your agenda, and I wish you all the best during that time.
But thank you, Brad.
We're going to take a commercial break and be back after this. I hope they speak as well as you do, and you stepped on.
See what you got. Quick shot. Yeah.
I don't know. That's why I'll take him over. Thank you, Ian.
Hey, all right, Bill.
So good.
All right.
Sustaining the worst flood landed in recent history, and some of us are thanking the Bermuda Indoor 5 for the kind of weather displacer everyone else is dreaming about. But as a tiny, vulnerable nation birthed by a fury of a hurricane, we could never be complacent, could we? Come and check us out for your storm watch provisions and advice on how to prepare for the arrival of a storm. Windows, wide ready for yourself.
Our lives are busy, more complicated. So we need a health plan that's easy to use, like Bermuda Health.
Registered local providers can check your cover and file claims online.
Enrollment is online too.
70% of claims are made at home.
With your Colonial, it can be less
I'm going to
complicated.
text
Less
Mark now.
paperwork.
And your provider's bill can be paid quickly.
96% of claims are settled in 5 days.
Colonial, where people come first.
Call 296-3200.
CGIGroup.com.
What time is it? It's game time. More opportunities to win. All your sports betting needs without the road trip. Introducing Game Time East and Game Time West. Located next to Washington St. George and Main Road Somerset by Somerset Cricket Club. All Game Time outlets open Monday to Friday 12 to 6, Saturdays 8:30 till 5, and Sundays 10 till 5. For more details, visit GameTime.pm or call 296-3222. Game Time. We play, we pay. Game Time is a socially responsible gaming establishment.
The Doghouse, where we all end up, presents Undefeated Bermuda. Let's get ready to rumble! In the red corner, representing Bermuda, it's Nicky Nifty Pascoe! And in the green corner, representing Portugal, it's Fabio Hands Up Stone Costa! International referees team smarter officiating the event. It's live at the Fairmont, Southampton on November 11th. Doors open at 7 p.m. The event starts at 8 p.m. Free Bermuda and Portugal flags at the gate. Tickets are $75 for general admission, $150 VIP ringside. Tickets sold at Sports Source Hamilton and more. Audio Visual Hamilton and Somerset, Fairmont, Southampton. Tickets sold online at ptix.pm. Sponsored by the Doghouse, Traceros Gas Station, the Letter Gazette, the Sports Source, Audio Visual Electronics, Russo Landscape, the Island Shack, Fresh and Hungry, Arnold's Family Mart. See you. Now, back to Inside Sports Talk Radio. Inside Sports Talk Radio on Power 95 FM with host Ian Rollins and co-host Earl Beeston.
And back to Inside Sports Talk Radio. As we mentioned during the intro of the show, that we have representatives from the Bermuda Football Association, but they're yet to arrive. So meantime, I was
Down the airport.
Down the airport. Okay, possibility. Just got a text message here. Okay. Yeah. I'm open to see what happens from that text message. I'll leave it like that.
Okay.
Bermuda, last night, going down 4-1 to Haiti. First of all, it is an accomplishment for Bermuda to make it to the finals of 2017. Girls competed down there. I think it's the first time we have advanced to the finals in that category. And then secondly, it wasn't an easy task when we were playing Jamaica, Trinidad, the powerhouses to make it to the next round. So that was an accomplishment in itself.
Right.
So I know you did some covering of that, some reporting on it. What was it like for Bermuda?
Well, obviously, it's always going to be a tall order. Coaching staff always had belief that eventually they will get to this point. This is the one step prior to going to face what they consider the bigger nations in CONCACAF, such as USA, Mexico, Canada, and the like. So getting through this one was just getting the girls to believe in themselves. You get that start against Trinidad, which ends in a 2-2 draw. Then you're facing one of the tougher teams in Jamaica, who, to be honest, haven't had the best of times of late. Going into the game against Jamaica, remember our under 20s played Jamaica here a couple of months ago, going down 2-1. But the belief that these girls had in the program gave them that much more inspiration. Going up 3-0 against Jamaica, obviously hanging on to win 3-2, and then having to wait the Friday night to find out whether or not Jamaica was going to beat Trinidad was obviously basically things weren't in their hands. They had done their part, but they needed assistance from another team, and Jamaica came out on top after dominating the game 3-1. Going to the final, I think it was just one of those things where you're excited to be in the final, but the ultimate goal had already been accomplished of reaching the CONCACAF final, which is going to be held in Nicaragua. Dates yet to be confirmed, but next year. So I think overall they've actually achieved a remarkable feat. I wouldn't say overachieved, because if you speak to the coaching staff, they wouldn't say overachieved, because they knew these girls had it in them. These girls have been in the program for quite some time. They've played to a system that they've been taught over and over and over and over again, and that self-belief carried them right through to this, what they've been able to accomplish.
What does this mean now for the DFA's under-17 program for women and the women football period?
Well, you look at the overall academy. I mean, what they've been able to do with the academy for the girls' side and the boys is getting a system of play. And speaking with the technical director, development director, Maurice Lowe, he's been preaching that along with the coaches. And the one thing that you can say about the girls, they've consistently had the coaching the whole time. They've had Nikita Robinson, they've had Aaron Dankins, they've had Vance Brown, and these guys have been consistent working with the entire program from the senior team right through to the under 13s. And the method has always been the same. So you can take a player that's probably playing under 17 and stick them in the senior team, which has already been done, and their role doesn't change because they play that one system. And that's what I think the academy has been able to accomplish, more so the girls, only because they, and people will tell you, even coaches will tell you, women pick up on things, especially in the game of football, a lot quicker. They're being taught, they're like machines when it comes to that. So, guys always want to try something different. Coaches are constantly telling them, let's do the basics first, They tell you, yeah, and go out there and it's something totally different. But for the girls, they're going to stay within their circle and do what needs to be done, and they've reaped the rewards. The association has to be doing something right at the youth level, because we've had the success of the under 20 boys. We've now had the success of the under 20 girls and under 17 girls. So, a lot of people have been crying foul about the association, but you don't hear the same people congratulating them when something of these natures come about. So, we look at it in many ways, but this accomplishment for the girls, and we want to make sure that they are acknowledged. They arrive back tonight. I know 2 church groups that don't even have people involved will be there this evening just to congratulate young ladies for accomplishing something that this country has never been able to accomplish before.
This is huge. Going into the finals of the under 17
CONCACAF finals.
Big accomplishment for Bermuda. Credit to the Bermuda Football Association sticking with their game plan or academy program plan. Credit to all the administrators.
Now more work.
More work. Yes,
but you know what? I think the administration doesn't mind this work because it actually reflects on the entire program. If one team is a success, then the entire program's a success. We just need to make sure that we have some consistency, and that's what I think. If you speak to Nikita Robinson, you speak to Aaron Jenkins, if you speak to the male coaches such as Kyle Lightbourne, Dennis, Andrew, they just want consistency. And if we get the consistency, it ain't nothing stopping this little small country from competing against the nations such as Jamaica and Trinidad. And come this Saturday, we face Barbados, who are ranked higher than us in CONCACAF and in FIFA. So, if we get some consistency and some belief, and I'm pretty sure that the association will have the young ladies who will return tonight there to support the boys. And that will be an uplift for the guys at the stadium on Saturday night. So, with the backing of the Bermuda crowd, if you can't get to the airport tonight, I'm pretty sure that those girls will be on show some part on Saturday night. You'll be able to congratulate them then. So,
It's there.
Yeah.
Well, again, the work has paid off well.
Right.
And going into this event, we didn't expect, aside from the players and the coaching staff, that they would dream of making it to the finals. But on the outside looking in, we're saying, well, we wish them the best, and
Right.
hopefully they can go as far as they can.
Right.
They took it to the pinnacle. They came up short, and that shows now that they should have a plan in place to capture that elusive title, and next time they compete again. And obviously have a plan in place for the program so others can come on board through the Girls Football Academy, and hopefully that it will see the program being rewarded, because this is maybe the turn of a positive time for Bermuda and girls football.
Well, we have to remember, and we have to keep it in perspective. These are baby steps. So we've now made it to the second round consistently, which is the round that we just came out of. It's going to take some time when we start talking about the Mexico, the Canada, the USA. So we have to be patient again. It's almost like we're starting all over again, but we just have to make sure that we constantly get to face those nations, and eventually we will get better. We will be able to match them, but it's going to take time, just like this took time. These guys have been working with these young ladies for a long time,
True.
And now we're reaping the benefits of just basically getting out of our group stages. And I think if you ask anybody in the administration, that's been the goal. So now it's just being consistent and making it out of these rounds to meet the bigger nations. So yeah, next year in that final will be a tall order, but it's a start all over again. 10 months ago, actually 13 months ago, maybe 14 months ago, the girls played USA, and they really got hammered in the press, because they lost heavily. But prior to that, there were no coverage of them. But the minute they lost heavy, but let's see if the person that took their, I guess, not even frustration, but wanted to make a plight out of the fact that the girls lost heavily, comes out tonight and congratulates them publicly.
Right.
Because, over the years, this program has grown in strength to strength. So, the program, the people involved in the program, their parents all deserve much applause only because they've all made sacrifices to get to where we are today.
So true. I just got a text here that Representative from the Bermuda Football Association will be joining us in the studio to reflect obviously on the women's results. So he'll be here in the next 15 minutes. There's some miscommunication amongst themselves, and so they will make their way to the broadcasting station for an interview. I'm going to go outside because I think there's some other guests joining us in the studio. We're going to take a commercial break, and we'll be back after this.
Inside Sports Talk Radio has been presented to you by Colonial Group International, Global Atlantic Way, Windows Group of Company, Same Time, and Energize Wellness Solutions. We'll return after the break.
Our lives are busy,
More complicated.
so we need a health plan that's easy to use, like Premier Health.
Registered local providers can check your cover and file claims online.
Enrollment is online too.
70% of claims are made at home.
With Colonial, it can be less complicated,
Less paperwork.
and your provider's bill can be paid quickly.
96% of claims are settled in 5 days.
Colonial, where people come first.
Call 296-3200.
CGIGroup.com.
When it's time for a really satisfying meal, there's really nothing quite like chicken. And you can take the quality to a higher level with Coleman Organic Chicken. Coleman have been serious about clean, humane methods of chicken rearing since 1875. They insist on stringent quality control of all phases of the bird's development, and you can taste the difference. Try Coleman organic chicken drumsticks, thighs, tenders, and wing sections, boneless, skinless chicken breasts, whole chickens, and breaded chicken breast nuggets, tenders, and strips. Linda, why go anyplace else?
Hello.
How are you?
More opportunities to win. All your sports betting needs without the road trip. Introducing Game Time East and Game Time West. Located next to
Good
Rock.
afternoon, sir. How are you?
This headset's for you, ma'am.
This
one's for
you.
Thank you.
That one's for me.
Bring them all to the right.
Huh? Oh,
Bring them all to the
I'm
right.
gone? Okay.
No, you don't need me. Bring the ladies to the right.
I want ladies, you sit there.
Mute the chairs though. You gotta mute the chairs.
Okay.
Okay, so we can be request.
Yeah, you just switch.
You
will force me.
is the showcase of the world's most popular sport. And the broadcasting company will deliver
Pretty faces on YouTube.
in high definition.
Go close now.
Don't be afraid of it. That one's for Mark. That's the one for Mark.
For more information,
Coming up
email
now.
sales at BermudaBroadcasting.com.
AccuWeather, the world's weather leader. Forecasters and meteorologists who thrive on the new technology that can help you chart your
And your
day.
name, ma'am?
From St. George to
Sabrina Burgess.
sunshine to severe weather, with digital Doppler radar, AccuWeather helps you stay on top of your day.
Kai Miller.
Brought to you by BF&F. AccuWeather only on WM TV9, where community comes first.
Your name, sir? George.
Triple B.
This is Dr. Stanley Green. Join me on the morning show on Power 95, Friday mornings at 7:45 a.m. It's all about you. This 15-minute segment will cover nutrition for medicine, cancer prevention, and even the reversal of diabetes, blood pressure, and heart disease. It's all about you. Friday mornings at 7:45 a.m. Brought to you by
Now,
Inside Sports Talk Radio.
Inside Sports Talk Radio
On Power 95 FM.
with host Ian Rollins and co-host Earl Baston.
And welcome back to Inside Sports Talk Radio. Our guest in the studio right now is obviously the president of Greener Bodybuilding Federation, Mr. Mark Simons. And we have two lovely ladies in the studio, Sabrina Burgess and Kai Miller, who just competed overseas international competition. First of all, I'll start with the president first. Explain to us what the competition was all about and why the team had to go to this one as opposed to the one that was supposed to happen last month. Just reflect on that.
Reflect on it. Okay, so as we discussed, I don't know, I forget the date.
Yeah, I asked me, what is
The
it?
25th of September. Pretty good date. The Central American and Caribbean bodybuilding championships were canceled due to the unfortunate earthquake, multiple earthquakes in Mexico City. So subsequent to that, due to all the hard work and dedication that the competitors had put in, we sought to find another opportunity for them to compete. And we wrote to the Bermuda Legacy Cup, which was hosted in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, and they graciously accepted our, request to compete at their event. And they also opened it up to essentially all of the Caribbean, so all of the CAC eligible countries were able to compete, and many of them did. So that is the underlying information, and we have two of our great competitors here. Sabrina, a veteran, both are veterans, both have competed in the CAC before. Sabrina multiple times, Kai once, if I remember correctly. Yeah. Okay. And both of them done extremely well in this event on Saturday.
Okay. Let's start with Sabrina. Explain to us what's the difference in this event as opposed to when you were in 2014.
But that'd be fine.
Fine. I'm sorry. Forgive me.
2014, that's when I just started. And this competition, I was more experienced with it, and my performance on stage was a big improvement. So that's the big difference, my experience. Yeah.
What was it like in Toronto competing this event? What was it like really, well, aside from the experience, what was the experience for you competing in Toronto as opposed to the Caribbean itself?
It was very good getting to see all the different athletes from Canada and Caribbean. But all in all, it was good.
And how did you place overall?
I placed first in my class in class, and then overall I placed second. And they handed out 2 pro cards. The first was the Canadian, Annette Quebec, and then he got the second pro card.
So what's this mean for you now that you got your pro card?
Well, now I can compete on a professional level, which I would like to experience. And so I will go back to my coach, come every morning, and we will have a discussion on what's next for me. I'm not sure, but until now, but
So you're humble right now.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, it hasn't really hit me yet, but it's starting to.
Yeah.
I was very surprised, but I put the work in.
I just want to say the work pays off.
Right.
Yeah.
The diet and everything. It was a lot of hard work. And I have to give my hats off to my Body on Fire family, which helped me through Sabrina Burgess, and my coach. These guys are awesome. I could never have done this without all of them. Seriously.
When you first started competing, obviously there's nerves.
Yeah.
So do those nerves go away for you prior to international competition?
I was still nervous a bit.
Yeah.
But when I got on stage, I done what I had to do. But I was practicing all this time. I didn't diet and train all this time for nothing. So I ran on and, did my very best.
There you go.
Yeah.
What's your pro card?
The card was actually, so although her immediate height category E, which was the second tallest, we had 3 competitors. When she got to the final, there were 9 competitors.
Oh, wow.
So I don't want people to think that this was an easy feat, because these were 9 people that won their class, including masters competitors. So she came second out of that. And this is a very subjective sport.
Right.
So in my eyes, she was first. If you understand what I'm saying.
I got you.
So this is no easy feat, and it should not be downplayed, and you should be extremely proud of yourself.
Yeah.
Again, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
So you're still in the high, right? You're still high.
Yeah, I'm a
Humble
humble person.
Humble high.
Right. So
I'm
just going to jump the gun. When do you think you'll start taking the next step to prepare for the pro card?
Maybe not sure, but like I said, I have to talk to my coach, Carmichael, and we go from there.
Okay.
How much inspiration is the lady to your right?
Very much. I truly admire Sabrina. I mean, she's a great test to dedication, hard work. I mean, she gives her all. She's very regimented. Very. So I truly admire her a lot. Great admiration for her, respect for her. She's very positive, very. I love her.
Sabrina, you said a lot.
Right,
Sabrina, how do you balance so much that you have going on around you?
You know what? I stay busy. I love what I do. I love training. I love exercising. My boys are into soccer. I have a son in university playing soccer. My young one tries to play soccer. But that keeps me motivated to show them that their mother doesn't give up and to give your all. So.
What about for you, the nerves? Because one would say that you're well experienced at competing overseas. So obviously for people, not only the first time, but probably the second or third time, what advice are you giving them on that plane ride to just look forward to? Because you don't always, not everybody's in the same gym, so it's not until you kind of come together to represent each other for Bermuda that you get that opportunity to speak to some of them.
Well, you know what? I don't talk about the competition.
Right.
I just remind them. You put in 7-8 months in this. You have 3 minutes to shine. That's what you need to focus on.
Right.
Those 3 minutes is going to show all the work you've done in this previous year. Just focus on that.
And for you, it's worked over and
over again. Yes, thank you.
For a person like you, Sabrina, has been for quite some time. Yes, we know it takes dedication, and it's a mental aspect of it and a physical. But just being committed, how you able to serve so long?
I enjoy it.
I mean, yes, my days start early. I'm like I said, I'm regimental. Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday, I'm up at 3:30. In the gym at 4. You know, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, up at 4:30. In the gym at 5. You know, and then back again in the gym at evenings at 4:45. But that's what I do. That's what my mind has prepared me to do for any competition.
What sort of advice do you give someone who's just getting into the sport right now?
One day at a time. The weight's not going to come off within 30 days. It's a process, and don't give up.
A lot of people think, or I say a lot, but a number of people think that it can happen within 2 months, 3 months, and get the results. Why do people think that? And then if they do get some result, maybe 15% of it, they think they're there, but really they're not.
They're not. It's funny because people look at me and they're like, well, you're always in shape. But they don't realize that 365 days of the year, I eat the same. If I'm going to have my cheat meal with my husband on a Friday night, that's what I'm going to do. But guaranteed, you open up my lunchbox, I have my chicken, my sweet potato, you know, the things that I'm supposed to eat when I'm preparing for a show. So I'm pretty strict as far as eating.
What made you get into the sport? What was the interest? What drove you?
Always been someone that's been athletic, and I just wanted to say, okay, I did it, like a check on my bucket list. But then it was the first show.
The pan hasn't run out of ink yet. It keeps ticking.
Yeah. So this will be my 8th international competition. With each competition, I have made it to the finals. I've got a first, a second, 2 seconds, 3/3, a fifth, and a ninth on an international competition.
So you're doing stage for a ninth next year?
Nah, support Kai. Until I be a president.
What's in store for you now?
I kind of had made this my last show. You know, my trainer has other thoughts, but again, I sit down, I told him I would talk to him later in the week when we just get through this and to see where my head is and talk to my husband and, you know, decide. But I was making this my last show.
Okay. So hopefully we'll see you again in 2018.
Yes, hopefully.
Mr. Simons, anything you want to add before we bring in the other guests as well?
All I would say is I admire these guys for the dedication that they put in to the sport and to the federation. And we're just here to serve. We're here to protect and serve this sport. Well, I don't compete. I don't really understand much. As you know, my wife's into it. I make believe I listen to what she's saying. But most of the time it goes right over my head because I have very bad habits. So to watch these guys over the years, because I've been going to this competition since probably 2008, sorry. I think Sabrina started in 2011. It came a little later. To watch it evolve to what I saw the other night on a pretty decent international stage. Being the head of the federation is very hard work for me, and I'm very proud of everyone of them. Very much so.
And I just want to add a little note. I have to give big thanks to Mark and the federation because, you know, they didn't have to decide to take us to this competition. This allowed Bermudian athletes to show that, you know what, we can compete on an international level because Bermudians left a mark in Toronto this weekend. You know, I had someone that said, you know, well, how big is Bermuda? How many people? Because, you know, we took all these, you know, first, second, and third places, and, you know, we really showed well.
Right. Since that's the topic right now, Mark, would this be an event where possibly we will start competing in Toronto now, not just in the Caribbean?
That's hard to say because remember I told you the event was only really supposed to be open to Canada, Mexico, and the USA.
Right.
Now, if the Caribbean countries, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, if the Caribbean countries were not there, they would have had very few people compete.
Yeah.
So they might decide themselves to open it up.
Yeah.
Because obviously it's going to create more revenue for them and more interest.
Yeah.
So we have to wait and see.
Okay, so hopefully you hear back from them in a month or two or so?
Oh, I'm going to write to the promoter who I struck up a decent relationship with while I was there.
Okay.
And subtly suggest that we continue the competition that way.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, that'll be their decision.
All right, I'm sure. Ladies, like to add anything before we wrap up? To bring in the males next?
I just want to thank the Federation more. Thank you so much.
Anytime.
Took care of all the athletes. I appreciate it.
About time he's doing something right.
And a big thank you to our coach, Carmichael Bryant,
yeah.
everybody in the Fred family. I mean, we couldn't have done it without them. I've been training with Carmichael for 6 years, and I trust my body with him. I mean, my husband understands that, but he does a great job. And again, Carmichael, thank you.
Congratulations, ladies. Congratulations, Mark. We're going to take a commercial break when we bring you guys next. I'll be back after this.
Thanks, guys. I'll let Mr. Rollins and Earl know if I send them the bill for the time.
Yeah. He said he's coming here.
Someone said, Maurice, he's out there.
Yeah.
It's basically number 3
No,
on the
guys out there, yeah.
of
Yeah.
the scourge of diabetes. The dangers of diabetes were first reported by a physician of ancient Egypt more than 3,000 years ago, and some of us still don't understand the risks. Diabetes is the invisible disease that quietly changes lives from the inside, and armed with knowledge and self-discipline, we can keep this potential killer under control. Contact the Bermuda Diabetes Association for the vital
You just tell me
Call
which
our
one.
players.
Which
What
one
time
is
it?
which?
It's game time. Fun and dependable sports betting on NFL, NBA, Major League Baseball, golf, horses, English Premier League, and more. Weekly promotions, instant win games. Be a lucky loser with our weekly draw. Become a game time player. Call into one of our 3 locations in Somerset, Town, or St. George's. For more details, visit gametime.pm or call 296-3222. Game time. You play, we pay. Game Time is a socially responsible gaming establishment.
Our lives
Oh, what? It says
more
run.
complicated.
Run.
So
It
easy
says
to
run.
plan, it's easy to
What
use,
you have
like
before when you
Premier Health.
Yes,
They're being in and out of
That was mistake.
Enrollment is online too.
70% of claims are made.
You put headphones on?
Colonial, it can be less complicated.
Let's take a look.
And your provider's bill can be paid quickly.
Need your
96%
names.
of claims are settled in 5 days.
Colonial, where people count.
Julian Johnson,
Call
right there.
296-3200.
CGIGroup.com.
Got a news tip? We'd love to hear from you.
Ooh, so what?
Bernard,
ZBM News
Bernard?
Hotline at
How you spell it?
292-4992.
N-A-R-D.
That's 292.
Oh, Bernard. Okay, yeah. Okay.
O-P-O-K.
Back to Inside Sports Talk Radio. Inside Sports Talk Radio on Power 95 FM with host Ian Rollins and co-host Earl
Thank
Peter.
you.
And welcome back to Inside Sports Talk Radio. We are now joined by two male members of the Bermuda team that just recently returned from Toronto. Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I hope you are doing. Can you introduce yourself? I know how to say Bernard. Introduce yourself.
Sure. I'm Bernard Apoku.
I'm Julian Johnson.
Okay. Gentlemen, you guys have been preparing for, first you were preparing for the Caribbean Championships, obviously. When the news came that you wouldn't be able to go to the Caribbean, and Mark and his committee came up with the fact that there might be another event that you could possibly attend, what was your reaction to that?
I have to plan it for about another 4 weeks.
Has to work into your schedule.
Oh yeah, because I was actually really excited to do the show in Mexico, because after that I was actually meant to go to Ghana
Right.
to see my parents, so it was just going to be enough time where I can just enjoy good food, relax and just put some sides.
Plans derailed.
But yeah, completely went out the window. It was still a good trip, but it was just a trip of dieting, sweating in the sun, eating vegetables, and watching everybody else eat the good food. So, but yeah, it was always it's a part of my lifestyle, something I'm used to doing, and it paid off.
Yeah. For you, discipline in regimenting yourself for eating and training, how difficult is it for you?
Very hard. Depending on how much I want to achieve this goal, then that's the easier it becomes. If I wake up every single day, I tell myself, this is what I want, how hard do I want it, that's where I push myself to get it. Plus you have people, coaches, to friends to help you push towards your goals. So that's a little easier, but it's very hard.
Bernard, you always seem like you enjoy yourself when you're on show, when you're on stage. Is that a way for you to divert away the attention that you're a little nervous at times? Because you always got a smile on your face. You always... Are you nervous up there?
Do you know, I'm actually not nervous. I guess it's just mentally I want to enjoy myself. You put in all this hard work, all this time, all this
effort to be on stage for about 2.5 minutes. So you may as well enjoy your time while you're out there. There's no point trying to take it too seriously. Plus, it emulates on stage. If you are enjoying yourself, the judges see you're enjoying yourselves. It brings out your character, and that's what we want to see.
When you look at the competition you guys were up against, because obviously you see other people that you're going to be competing against in your classes overseas, do you get a full sense of, oh, I look better than this person, or I just need to make sure I'm on my A game and I can wipe this competition off the stage?
Let me. I've been in many predicaments where people look far better than me, but you could have a better body, but if you can't present it better than I can present mine, even though I might look a little less than yours, I'm gonna get it, and I'm gonna make sure I get it. Because the moment I start to see your flaws, when I'm on the stage and you're making your little turns, and I'm like, he don't know what he's doing, I'm gonna try to make that known, even though you might look a little better than I do.
Now, you say something like that, and for the person that might come to the bodybuilding show on a night that is in Bermuda, explain what you're talking about to the common person that just coming because a friend told them to come, but they'll look and see what you said, that person's body looked better, but they got flaws. So what is some of the things people should be looking for technically? Just the common person, not because you have the judges who are really looking, but the common person.
I'll probably say the condition and fluidity of your posing. How, let's say, how smoothly your body moves and is put together.
You mean when you're turning and holding the pose? Yeah. Okay. Because you often see people either stumbling trying to turn or just can't hold that pose for a long period of time. Do you find that challenging?
Yes, when I don't practice. I don't know. It depends on which class you're in. So for like men's physique, I think it's more about charisma and presentation on stage, because really and truly everyone looks good. To the common person, you're gonna see chest, you're gonna see abs, you're gonna see shoulders.
Right.
Unless they're not prepared just physically, you probably won't tell the difference.
Right.
So it's more of how they appeal to you when they present themselves on stage. Who stands out to you? Who do you look at? Who are you drawn to? That's what each competitor's trying to do, is trying to get your attention.
Right.
So how they get your attention is probably the things like how he turns. Even sometimes by stumbling, they may do that and get your attention. And
right.
You use that to your advantage. So
he done a lot of that. He done some of that in the competition.
Just to get the attention.
Yeah. Like that. It's like little things like getting yourself in trouble on stage, so the judge will call you out and say, "Don't do that." So you do it on purpose, but then you can get away with it.
You let your secrets out now.
It's fine. It's just to improve the sport. You want everybody to improve, everybody to grow, and become superstars out there. So, but it's little things like that. And again, I think something like bodybuilding, it is a bit more technical. It's okay. Are they more symmetrical? How does their bicep look? And that's a bit different. But men's physique is more about charisma and getting that appeal on stage.
What sort of advice you give a young gentleman who's up and coming into the sport now? So you guys have put in. What sort of advice do you give them? Either one could answer.
I think one is enjoy what you're doing.
Yeah, definitely enjoy.
I'm the sort of person, I like being in the gym. I enjoy being in the gym. So it's not hard for me to go into the gym, train really hard. And I guess it's dedication and commitment to training and the diet. I think that's the two key components of trying to be successful here.
Sure.
Yeah. And it's not a quick journey. It will take some time.
Yeah. Somebody is just starting, like Bernard said, I say first try to make sure you enjoy it if you plan on doing it for any type of longevity for this sport. When I first started, I was doing it just because I just enjoyed going to the gym.
Right.
And I was approached by one of the gym owners and said, "Hey, what do you think about doing this?" I was like, "Oh, no, I'm not really about that life. I don't really know about that." But I was like, you know what? Okay, I love myself. I'm not. I'm not doing it. Let me just try it.
Right.
So eventually, this is my fresh year. I think it's probably like Bernard. You started in 2012.
Yeah.
So it was like Bernard was like 2 years in already. I was like, let me try it. I really enjoyed it. You got to see people who would, like Bernard, who would start to become seasoned, and it made you want a little bit more. And you met people, and other people were passionate about it. So it was more like, yes, it's a lot of self-growing and self-finding if you plan on doing this, but it's also surrounding yourself around other people who are also in the sport that can basically encourage you to do it out. I asked Bernard so many questions. I don't know if even if he gets irritated, I don't care. Like even on stage, before stage, I asked Bernard all these questions about, hey, how's this, is that. Even when it came down to like certain things like my facial hair, hey man, you think I should cut this or do this, or how do you think this is? And he'd be telling me just be yourself. Like it's not about trying to conform to what somebody else is. Just like it's like have the right people around.
Right.
That's all.
Yeah, definitely. How long can you guys see yourselves participating in the sport?
As long as my missus lets me.
That's not a statement.
Hopefully she's listening.
They treat you under there now. You gotta know.
Yeah, they get upset when you go to the gym every day.
How much time do you think you'll be putting into sport?
I'm definitely not stopping for at least the next 10 years. I ain't stopping no time. Like full steam ahead.
Okay.
I enjoyed it.
These two guys are two of Bermuda's best.
Right.
So Bernard is the former Mr. Bermuda for physique multiple times, and Julian is the current. And pretty much in their class at this event, they wiped the floor of everybody. It was night and day the quality that they brought versus everybody in their immediate class. So when Bernard made it to the final, that was no surprise. And what did you say? So Bernard ended up third, missing a pro card by 1 point.
Wow.
Yeah, overall. So what they do is they take the winner of each height category and they make it to the finals. And then there's a winner, and then there's a second who gets pro card, and then the second place person in this event also gets pro card.
Right.
So when we look at the score sheets, Bernard had 1 point more than the guy that came second. 1 point more. No. So I don't want to get into detail about how the judges go, but less points is better.
Oh, okay.
Because what happens is, briefly, the judges rate you. So there's 7 guys on stage. The judge is going to say who's first. So if 7 guys pick you first, then you have 7 points. If they pick him second, he's going to have 14 points.
Gotcha.
I see.
That's points.
Right.
It's better. Yeah. As for the competition in Toronto, this being the first time for both of you gentlemen, what did you experience out there as opposed to being in the Caribbean?
I'll probably say I was able to see a seriously higher quality of athletes versus a wide range of anything could happen. Like I know when I done CACs last year, like, whoa, why are you even here? Like type thing. I was like, oh, you're not even nowhere near. But in his country, that might be the standard of what they see as the best, or what that was the best they was able to bring forward. This competition, I was able to do a little bit of research in Canada. They have a lot of nationals, a lot of pro qualifiers, and a lot of natural competitions. They have a bigger federation than we do, and they have a very high standard. They have something to look past, especially looking at the IFB in the United States. So they have a higher standard of what they see as what's needed to be on stage. So he's able to go out there and see some really good high quality athletes. So it wasn't an easy pool to pick from when it came to getting what you needed.
Mark, one second. Sorry. Good. You can finish.
No, I echo what Julian's saying. It's there's, I guess, for Canada, they needed to qualify to actually be in that show. So there was a minimum standard to actually be in the show in the first place. And again, you just get to see, I guess, more competitors from around the world in shows like this, whereas in the CACs, it's limited to just the Caribbean. So getting to see people from Canada, from Mexico, from all over the world trying to compete in one place just broadens the different shapes and sizes of different people from around the world. You see more countries are better in one type of class than another, things like that.
Mark, from the administration standpoint, What are some of the things you picked up from the night that could possibly work in Bermuda?
I went there specifically to observe, and I observed their stage. It's a lot bigger than ours. That's one thing. So that's one thing in my list to see if I can get a venue, a weekend at a venue that has a larger stage. The backstage, so the environment was better than any one I've seen in Bermuda, and how they had it laid out was better. We can't replicate that because we don't have the physical plans to do.
Right.
But as far as running of the show, the way how we ran our show this year in Bermuda was pretty much the same as how they ran it.
Okay.
So they had classes, and then before they went to another class, they gave the prizes for the couple classes that already went. So we done that for the first time this year,
right?
Which is pretty common for shows in the U.S. and Canada.
Okay.
But the main thing was the stage. It's quite a bit bigger.
What does that open up? More space for the athletes, more space and more time for the judges to see each athlete.
Right. Yeah. So you got more space for the athletes to spread out, particularly if you have a larger event with more people in it.
Right.
Which we're hoping to do as we attract more people. I mean, that's about it, really. But the backstage, I mean, what you guys have been in multiple places, you in particular, I mean, how would you rate that backstage to others?
To be honest, what I've come to realize, backstage just means space for you to be. Before there was a lot of important, I guess a lot of, I say, prior support in terms of having weights there and things like that. The more shows I've been these days, there's no weights, there's no nothing. It's literally, here's where you are, get ready and get on stage. So it's more about self-preparation now. I guess a lot of the venues these days won't have on-site gym, won't have the weights, or people are not going to bring the weights to the venue just for this particular show. So as long as there's sufficient space for the people to sit down and relax, I think that's indeed.
Cool. All right. Anything John might say before we wrap up?
No, nothing other than thank you for allowing us to talk to you today. And,
our pleasure. Our pleasure.
To these two guys, just keep up the good work.
Definitely.
I just want to say I'm really appreciative of Mark. I think he's a phenomenal person before he is even president. He's an honest man. And I'm just gracious to have him around. It's funny, it's cool. I know you obviously know his wife, Shamila.
Baby, I know the wife, but I don't know him.
Right.
You know Mark like I know Mark?
I don't know if you know, but
thank you, Julie.
You know,
I'm just messing.
Not every person you could, especially the president, you could be honest, ask questions, have your support. Same with the rest of the federation. Like, this is one of the best trips I've ever been on in regard to the chemistry amongst the team, administration, and the team.
Right.
So, and obviously it has to start from the head. Any sort of organization or fluidity of a team starts from the head. And that's why I'm just, giving thanks to Mark. Like, hey, you made it happen. The team trusts you and trusts your leadership. Right. So just giving honor to leadership. So, it was a success. Look what we came at.
That's true.
That comes from leadership.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I'll give him his kudos and his go right on. That's an inside joke. He knows what I'm talking about. But are there anything you like to wrap up in?
No, I totally agree exactly what Julian's saying here. That Mark specifically helped me out a lot this year. Gave me some special concessions to actually allow me to come to the trip with them to Bermuda, to Toronto too. Given I didn't actually compete at the Night of Champions this year. And like I said, thank you for that because it gave me the opportunity to do my first show that I actually competed in. And like I said, I'm gladly working with him going forward as well. It's always been a pleasure.
Good stuff. Well, we thank you here on Inside Sports Talk Radio. You guys are welcome back anytime to talk. It's information that people need to understand and learn about it. People always can get into fitness, and you guys never know. So please pass it on. Welcome back anytime.
Thank you.
From Mark to Julian to all of them.
One last thing.
Sure.
So you had asked me before about our April extravaganza.
Yes.
Girl.
Yeah.
I'm glad to tell you that we will be having that.
Okay.
And the date is April 14th.
April 14th.
2018.
Okay.
So anybody out there who's interested in starting the sport, start your training and get yourself ready for April 14th.
Location, venue?
City Hall.
City Hall. Okay. All right. Cool. So we'll take a commercial break. We'll be back after this.
Good deal.
I've got the action.
What day?
April 14th.
April 14th. Saturday. Yeah. Multi-transfer the deposit to City Hall right now.
That's what?
More complicated.
Come on,
So
into
you
the
need a
one.
health plan that
Oh,
suits
Lord.
your needs.
Oh, Lord.
Local providers can check your cover and file claims online.
Enrollment is online too.
70% of claims are made at home.
With Colonial, it can be less complicated.
Less paperwork.
And your provider's bill can be
Yeah,
paid
this is
quickly.
what we have to know.
96% of claims are settled
The
in
one you
5
told me
days.
two, and three. What we have to know.
Call 296
You know, it's seasonal. They probably didn't have it up.
Yeah, I saw that too. And they probably have
We're
it
now
over
in the
there.
thick of hurricane season, and a lot of our neighbors are sustaining the worst blows landed in recent history, and some
Do you
of
have
us are
Max?
thanking the Bermuda Azores
I
Hey,
Five
think
girl.
for the
BFA.
weather
I think
dispersant
BFA.
everyone
Okay.
else is dreaming about. But as a tiny, vulnerable nation birthed by a fury of a hurricane, we could never be complacent, could we? Come and check us out for your storm watch provisions and advice on how to prepare for the arrival of a storm. Lindos, why go anyplace else?
What time is it? It's game time. More opportunities to win. All your sports betting needs without the road trip. Introducing Game Time East and Game Time West. Located next to Walgreens and St. George's and Main Road Somerset by Somerset Cricket Club. All Game Time outlets open Monday to Friday 12 to 6, Saturdays 8:30 till 5, and Sundays 10 till 5. For more details, visit GameTime.vn or call 296 Game Time. We play, we pay.
Got a news
All right,
Headset
Simon,
on, straight
it's on.
Just put on headset.
Call the ZPM News Hotline at 292-4992.
Technical development.
That's
Technical development officer.
292-4992.
Director.
Now, back to Inside Sports Talk Radio. Inside Sports Talk Radio on Power 95 FM with host Ian Rollins and co-host Earl Baisden.
And welcome back to Inside Sports Talk Radio. Joining us now is Maurice Lowe, the Bermuda Football Association Technical Director. Development Director. Wait, say it again? Technical Development Director. I was right. Technical Development Director. We were talking earlier about the women's under 17 success in the finals against Haiti, obviously losing 4-1, but just reaching that goal. Earl had alluded that the program you guys have put in place with your academy program is paying dividends. I just wanted, from your reflection, explain to us how the success has worked for you in the women's football.
It's not specific to women's football. So the National Academy is what we call an accelerated training program for young island athletes, so that they're getting a steady diet of high caliber football in preparation for international matches. So that extends with the male and female teams. And what we're seeing now is that our female teams are having some success. So one of the things that happens in an academy structure is that the training methods and the curriculum is the same across age groups. So it's very easy to pick a player from one age group and put him into another age group should someone become unavailable. So it's no coincidence that both our under 20 male team made it to the CONCACAF championships and our under 17 female team are doing the same game right now, where we were able to put our under 20 male players with our senior men's national team, and then we got some valuable experience and become harder to stiff up opposition. While as it relates to our under 17 girls, many of those players played in the under 20s versus Jamaica, and then we had the under 20 competition here in Bermuda, which would have hardened them to some international matches. Okay, we played versus Jamaica's under 20s, we lost to one with a close match, but now them same players have a point of reference into, okay, if I done well against Jamaica's U20 team, on the under 17, maybe I'm a little bit less intimidated about playing a strong opponent. So all of that is happening by design, and it seems to be bearing fruit right now, as we can see with, two teams getting to the CONCACAF level in one calendar year.
That's good. That's good. What does this mean now for the program for the women's football in particular?
Well, with every success comes a new challenge. So
that's right.
The reward for making it past the CFU round, being the second place team in the CFU round and taking us to the CONCACAF championship now is USA, Mexico, Canada. Powerhouses, even stronger teams than possibly the teams that we played in these first two rounds in the CFU. So it's a bigger challenge ahead of us. One that we very happy to be able to experience.
Earlier, I talked about the fact that you want to be consistent with the academy at this level of competition. You want to constantly be getting out of the first and second rounds. To maintain that, what are some of the things you guys are working on behind the scenes to ensure that that consistency stays in place? Because we want to make sure that we get more people involved in the program if we are consistent.
The Bermuda Football Association strategic plan speaks to us getting to the final round of the competition, which we're beginning to do regularly or consistently now. And when we're doing that, it brings the man all sorts of challenges because the level of play is higher, and then even the style of play is different. So at the CONCACAF level, you get experience to the South American teams. So when we play versus the United States, Jamaica, Haiti, they're very powerful teams. Now you enter Mexico, and who's going to do well in the South American Championship, but then you get teams that have more flair and movement of the ball. So it's a different challenge, it's a different style of football, and what we have to do here now is to prepare ourselves for these different styles of play that the opponents are going to bring towards us. So everyone at that higher level is fit. So fitness, take that out of the equation. But what we found with the male team in our visit to younger tennis now is that you have to be tactically astute, and then everyone has to be comfortable with the ball. So that's one of the challenges in our programming here that we're trying to do with the younger age groups to make sure that everybody is comfortable with the football, because eventually you're going to get to a level where you can specialize. When you're playing at the CONCACAF level and then even at the World Cup level, beyond the CONCACAF level, everyone ticks most of the boxes. So there's not very many players that have a lot of deficiencies. Everyone is good at that level. So the work here on Ireland is for us to make sure that everybody is technically proficient. And then one of the other challenges is making sure that we're physically well prepared.
We have a lot of youngsters, both male and female, off island. How does that working them into the plan and into the regimen of what you want to achieve? How much of a difficult task is that?
It's massive, and it's a challenge. Sometimes it presents itself to the One Island player and parents of One Island players as being unfair almost, because we have the National Academy, and again, the National Academy is predominantly, well, it is for the players that are local in Bermuda. So for them to get some steady diet of high caliber football. And then we have the seeing now the trend is that more and more of our athletes or our football players are going overseas at a younger and younger age. And because that's happening now, it presents us with the challenge of being able to track those players, because not necessarily everyone that's in an overseas environment is in good form or better form than someone that may be here in Bermuda. And those opportunities, not all of them are merit based. So just because a person is overseas doesn't mean that they're a better player than one of the people that may be in One Island. They just may have an opportunity at a good moment.
Right.
So the challenge for us is now to get eyes on those people. And again, we're talking about hundreds of people across all divisions, across both genders. And for us to get eyes on them so that we can, as much as possible, select the best player at any given time.
Have they given you a date or a month that the Nicaragua games will be played?
I'm hearing April, while I haven't received any official word from the competition organizers yet. So I like to, as much as possible, go by the competition organizers. So
they change all the time.
Yeah, it was
yeah. Giving you 2 weeks or 3 weeks to get ready.
But that's one of the strengths of having a national academy. So there's a level of readiness or preparedness,
Preparedness, right.
relaxed readiness is what we like to call it.
Mm-hmm.
So should something arise, we're already moving into we'll have some momentum, so it's a little bit easier.
I know one person that when you said April, and I know she's listening, put a smile on her face, and that's head coach Nikita Robinson,
Yes.
who when I talked to her the other day said, "Yeah, if it's March, April, I'm good. I'm good. I'm missing my girls." But you know, it what you guys have been able to accomplish amongst the coaches has a lot to do with it as well, because regular meetings, regular um, allowing coaches to have just pass on information amongst themselves, what challenges they're having in the academy, because somebody might be having a problem at the senior level, but then in under 13, another coach might be having the same problem. But the way you guys are able to meet and discuss is helping the overall program.
So we meet every month, and that's one of the strengths again. When we talk about strengths of having an academy, is not just for the players as well. So you have to recognize a lot of times when you look at a coach or a person in leadership position, they're not developing, like they don't have any room for growth as well, and that's not the case. So our coaches are developing as well. So over the last year, you would have seen the coach that's down in Haiti right now, the head coach, Alan Jenkins, has been with on the 20 team, he's been with our senior men's national team, and now he's with the under 20 women, and now he's with the under 17 women, and they had a good moment with some success. But there's been a lot of effort and guidance and mentorship put into that coach, so that when a movement like this arises, or we had two coaches, Nikita, who's pregnant, and then Vance, who had his wedding this weekend.
Right.
So shout out to both of them.
Yeah.
For their special moments in their life.
And the girls only made it bigger.
Yeah, definitely. And so, but someone still needs to be with the team, and they have to have that familiarity with the team, and also have enough coaching prowess to be able to guide the team to victory. So shout out to Coach Jenkins as well.
Did you get a chance to watch a bit of the game last night?
Yes. It was, I'm sure everyone in Bermuda, most people, it was two feeds going around, and I was back and forth with both feeds. One feed it wasn't very clear, but had some English speaking at times, and the other one and had a band in
next to it, right behind it,
But the other feed was in French, I assume, and but it was a little clearer, and it was more like broadcast quality, videography. So I was back and forth between both of them, trying to see as much as I can. But
what did you think about the Bermuda tactics?
I was just so proud of the girls and the coaching staff, because we had to almost experience it to understand sometimes. So in our region, Haiti is the team. They're the team that everybody, if you're going to go far, you're going to have to go through Haiti at some point. So my first encounter with Haiti was in Curacao, and I was with Paul Lightbone in the stands, and their game was after us, so we get to scout and see Haiti. And we're sitting next to each other, and after 5 minutes, I said, boy, how are we going to beat this team? They seem like they're invincible. Almost. And then we saw that same Haiti team in the CONCACAF championship versus United States, and they looked a shadow of themselves, which lets us know that there are bullseye. So Haiti is the top team in the CFU region by far in both genders. And they, so because of that, they have a bullseye on the back. Everybody's trying to beat them. And then there's teams that are behind, so that are trying to aim at other people. So we know that Jamaica and Trinidad are teams that we're going to have to go through if we're going to make it far in competition. So we're aiming for those teams. Trinidad, Jamaica, Haiti. But there's teams behind us that are aiming for us and using us as a benchmark for them to get to. So playing against Haiti is not an easy prospect at any level. But so in watching last night's match, I can see that one of the tactics that the coach employed was to have lots of people in midfield particularly. So Haiti is a team that plays through the guards. And one of the ways Bermuda has been able to punch above its weight, I spoke earlier about being comfortable with the ball. We're not there yet.
Right.
So for the listening public, we're not a possession-oriented team yet. We
Right.
want to be. We recognize that that's the style of football that the country wants to see, and we're not quite there yet. However, we're having a moment where we're able to string together some good results by being defensively organized and then using the natural ability that Bermudians have with explosive speed to be able to get teams when they counterattack. So if you would have watched the Jamaica match, we were able to do that a few times. The Haitian girls are perhaps just as athletic as ours, and it didn't pan out that way. But we tried last night, from my observations, was to pack the midfield to make sure that we had lots of bodies in there, because we knew that we were going to try to play in those areas. So you would have seen the Haitian players have lots of time and space on the ball in wide areas, because we put people in the center where the goal is to prevent them having an easy path to the goal, which perhaps left us a little bit short when we got the ball to be able to exploit the wide areas of the field. But it was a cup final.
Yeah.
And we took our chances. We set out our store to be hard to beat defensively, and then try to make something happen offensively. So, I mean, being down 2-1 at the half, we were in the match and we had an opportunity to do something more. It so happened that in the second half, Haiti got 2 more goals. But very, very proud of the effort of the young ladies. You show them they gave everything. They worked extremely hard.
They did.
So nobody can fault them for that. And it's sports. So we are talking sports. There's no guarantee.
That's right.
To any result. And we tried to perform an upset yesterday. It didn't happen. But we're proud of the girls just the same.
Okay. Any final comments before we wrap up, sir?
Yes. This week Saturday.
That's right.
We have our senior men's national team.
That's right.
Playing in a match versus Barbados. So the kickoff for that match is at 8 p.m. and that'll be at the National Sports Center. Tickets are on sale at P6, I believe, and at the BFA office. So I encourage the sporting public to come out and see our men's team do battle and give our all versus Barbados on Saturday night.
The women will be back by then. By any chance you guys will showcase them at halftime?
Showcase, yes. So it's an international match. Yeah. And the international match is guided by match protocols, which with FIFA. So it doesn't leave us with a lot of wiggle room to do lots of things, while recognizing that our girls deserve to be celebrated. And also, I mean, they're coming back tonight on Miami fight. So I anticipate a huge crowd being on the board. I've been there before, and we've seen both small crowds and large crowds.
And last time the Gumby showed up, and it had to be about 200 people there.
Wow.
Yeah.
It was a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it was an example of us celebrating our young people that are doing positive things. So it was an opportunity for the entire community to get behind them and encourage them to continue in the positive direction that they're doing.
Sure. Yeah. Wishing you well on Saturday night as well. So I wish you the best with the team coming tonight. What's your program itself? You make it go work, man. All right, thanks for joining us. We're going to take a commercial break. We'll be back after this.
Sports Talk Radio has been presented to you by
She's outside. So she's outside?
Yeah.
So you can do her commercial right. Come in.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm ready for it.
All right, Bruce. Good talk. Thank you very much. Any seat. Oh, you sit in that one because it's got you in the camera, right?
Oh, okay.
Camera.
Yay. Oh, it's nice and warm. Oh, this feels good.
It's time to be
I was trying to say video.
$250 worth of essentials, including rope, radio, first rose-colored flashlight gains in tarpaulin, or a $250 gift certificate.
Practical items Monarch Claim System puts things right.
Ask for a home insurance quote.
Call
Good weekend?
296-3700 or visit cgigroup.com.
On birthright to new home
The
insurance
children are out
policy.
this
What
week.
time is it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Game
yeah.
time. More opportunities to win.
Finish those
All your
days.
sports betting needs without the road trip.
Well, at least my daughter can stay home with childcare, for a while, so I do my classes. So I had a doctor's appointment, went home for a half hour, did my class, came back. I just need 10 minutes.
Yeah, three.
I have two. My ex-husband was my third one. Yeah. He was. Yeah. He still is.
This segment of Inside Sports Talk Radio Health and Wellness is presented by Energize Wellness Solutions.
And it's that time. We have April Charlie Shield. Excuse me. Excuse me.
We're in the studio.
In the studio. Excuse me. April Charlie Shield joining us in the studio.
Yes, yes.
For Energize Wellness Solutions. That time. How are you?
I'm well, thank you.
You're tired?
A little.
Just a little. Why is that?
Had a long morning, but I thought I would take a quick few-minute shut-eye before leaving my children. And
Didn't work.
didn't.
Uh,
One of them was on top of me, massaging me, and I was like, okay, you're hurting me now. But the other one gets off and gets on and starts, which was pretty good. But then they're fighting over, over the iPad and stuff. And of me, I was like, okay, you know what, just...
You get it. They're out of school.
Hurry up, school. Go back
they're
in.
out of school.
You've got another 4 days, right?
Yes,
Actually, 6.
You know, and I actually like when school is out, but yeah, it does give me
You got it.
yeah, I actually enjoy my children's company. I do. And they could tell.
Yeah.
But I am usually worn out by the end of it.
So now that you're not home and they're on the school break, I'm sure there's divulging like Doritos and Snickers bars.
Yeah, I've got to go shopping again because they're both at an age now that it costs more to feed them than it does to clothe. You know, it's taken a while to get to this point, but I'm like, man, I just went shopping, you know. And when they're home, then they're, you know, and if I'm not right there to monitor, they're just going through stuff.
Really?
Good night. But yeah, they are. They really are. So I guess that is a blessing. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's on tap today?
I'm going to talk about guidelines for resistance training. Okay. What we're supposed to do, which most people don't do, is get your physician's approval before starting a new exercise. But you know, as humans, we just jump in there.
Oh, yes. Until we injure ourselves.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's true.
But one thing that a lot of people do, not everyone, you should always start out with a warm-up. And I know that you just want to go and you just want to get in there, but you really should, just 5 minutes. You can do some jumping jacks or get on stationary bikes, a treadmill, some type of cardio, just to warm. I know you look, Mr. I don't like to stretch, so his now looking at me like,
yeah, I won't.
Warm up.
I will warm up, but with no stretch. But anyway, it's crazy.
I mean, because I think of a warm up. I compare it to something else, but I'm saying that. But it's good to warm up and get your body ready.
Get your blood flowing.
Yes, because then you have a greater range of motion. You're less likely to injure yourself because your body's like, okay, I'm warm now. Yeah. I'm ready. So another thing is when you pick up your weights or you replace them, do it with control. Don't just there's a certain way when you're, and especially if you're lifting something heavy, and even if you have to get down to get it, you have to be very careful because you can injure yourself just trying to pick up the weight or putting down the weight.
Well, I know most gyms and most facilities have a diagram just above the weights on how to pick them up and how to do lunges and stretches with them.
But do people?
I know what I'm doing. I saw this on TV.
Exactly.
I saw
I have
TV.
YouTube.
I would say YouTube. That's where it goes.
Yes. So you really have to be careful with that. Another thing is never hold your breath, while you're lifting. So, people do that because when you're exerting, then you're supposed to be pushing out.
Exactly.
Not.
And they do it.
Yes.
What percentage? Probably 80%.
Yes.
Yeah. So
But believe it or not, it actually makes it easier when you do your inhale and then you exhale when you are exerting. And I just find it does make it easier.
Yeah.
So don't do that. Utilize proper technique. You don't want to be jerky, and if you're, because then I see people and they're doing their arm curls, and then they're, the whole body.
That's cheating. That's
right. Because,
I know that's wrong, though. Well, both of you said cheating,
yeah.
And the weight's too heavy for them.
Yes, yes.
That's what it boils down.
Because you're trying to isolate the bicep. So if you're doing this, it's not just your bicep. Try to keep, brace your core so you tighten your abdominals. One of the things you can do is do a slight bend in your knees, tuck your bum under so that you're supporting your back, you're bracing your abs, and then bring the weights up to you so that you can see that it's your arms moving and not everything else.
Right.
Right, not that rocking movement. And yes, when it is very heavy, it does, you don't want to be pushing back because you'll hurt yourself.
And the funny thing is that when you correct them, they say after, hey, the weight's heavy.
Yes.
Right? The weight's heavy. Duh.
Right. Because you're doing it now.
That's right.
Proper technique. And that's also using controlled movements. But also, if you're going like this and you can do it really fast and you can do like 30 or 40, whatever, a lot of times it's because the weight is too light too, if you are doing the correct technique. So increase the weight or slow it down.
Right.
Because it gets much harder when you slow it down and then bring it up. You can even hold it. Just hold it for a few seconds at the end, and you notice that increases the intensity too. And it's not, it's not like you're doing a whole lot more, but just holding it for 5 more seconds. And even when you're doing your leg extension, if you sometimes you just put some, maybe once a week or throughout and the leg extension, for those that you knows, you're seated and you pull your legs up, and then you're working the whole quadricep area. And just hold your legs up there for a few seconds. And then slowly bring it down. Yes. You see Ian's face and it burns. And then you bring it back up. And you're increasing the intensity, but you're also increasing the duration of time that you're actually lifting, that you're engaged in that activity.
Would you recommend, if someone's just getting started, the rubber... the bands as opposed to weights, just getting started to get into a routine?
Because you can actually start off with using your own body weight. Then you can progress to the bands, and progress to the free weights and the machines. And there's a difference with each one. And people that usually only use machines, have them do some free weights.
Huge difference.
Really huge difference.
Oh, okay.
You'll find it's much heavier.
Right.
It's like, but I do like 50 pounds on this or 100 and something this machine. So some free weights. That's saying.
So would it have a lot to do with form then, more than anything else?
The machine really does help with the form.
Okay.
But it helps you. It helps your form, but it also it's helping you along a bit. Trying to think of something, a machine, like a chest press, and you're like, I got this. Well, okay, get on the bench press, and take some dumbbells, and now see if you got this at the same weight, because the machine is carrying some of that weight.
Right.
It's like the Smith machine.
Right? Yes.
You squat in the Smith machine.
Yes.
And then go squat by yourself on
the bars.
Right?
Yes.
35-pound bar.
Yep. And I was thinking of that at first too. Yes.
Big difference.
Yes. Because with that Smith machine,
supports
going
you.
down, it does, and then it's so it's kind of up
Yeah.
against this thing, so it's nice and smooth going up and down.
And the pressure is like really not on your back when you're going up.
Mhm.
You do it by yourself on a 45-pound bar and you got weights on.
Right.
You can feel it going down and then you get up.
You can feel it going up, and if
you
you're
feel your butt type.
right,
That's the difference.
and that's
Of course.
and also with that, if you're stronger on one side, then the bar can go like this,
Yes.
and then you have to even it up.
Right.
So then, if it's too heavy, then you definitely need a spotter.
Right.
But the Smith machine has got you, because then you can kind of go like that and clip it on,
Right,
and
That 1 second makes a big difference.
it does.
As opposed to when you're in the bar, you're like, seriously, big difference. Go train with it, man. Try it out, man. Go train with Baypool. Try it out.
And I get an hour.
We can get an hour. I'll make it work for you. I'll make sure you get an hour.
I need an hour.
Okay.
I got it for you.
You
You're
know.
okay. You're okay. I got it for you.
Well, you said you was getting first, so after you do your hour, I'll do mine.
Alright.
You were freely giving away an hour just now. All of a sudden.
Okay, crickets now.
But when you on these exercises that you're talking about, is it good to partner up?
It is really good.
Safety wise.
They recommend that you have a spotter,
Mm-hmm.
especially if you're going to be lifting heavy. Not everyone has that luxury, and if you don't have a spotter and you're not working with the machine, then I would suggest you do what you know you can actually lift.
Right. Because if you go across people's garages, you'll see a workbench.
Yes.
With the bar across, but you don't see the dumbbells on the side. You don't see all that stuff. The weights on the side, but it's pretty scary to think that somebody will be in the garage working out by themselves.
Yeah, people do it all the time, and I've seen videos that have gone around where this guy he was doing bench press and he couldn't get it up, and it was like on his neck. That's dangerous.
Right.
That is really dangerous. Yeah. So when I normally train by myself, I know what I can do, and I know, okay, well, I'm going extra heavy with this, and I'm doing shoulder press. Okay, I'm going to go for maybe 5 of that weight, and then I'll lower it down, before going to, because I don't have anyone to help me out. But what you can do, and what most people do when they're in a gym setting, and they need a spotter, they're like, hey, can you spot me? Sometimes they do it, most of the times they'll say beforehand, could you just come over and spot me real quick? And then the person will spot them and will go back.
Right.
But if you're in trouble, you just yell, you say, hey, help, something, whatever, and usually someone will come to your rescue.
If they like you.
That's true.
I'll be there in a minute.
Yeah, because everybody, all
right.
Because you're all in the same boat,
yeah.
And you can normally find someone, unless you're down there by yourself, to help you. Another tip is to increase your load progressively. So you don't want to, okay, I'm starting out with these 20 pounds now. The next set, I'm going to go up to 40, or, So it's normally like 5-pound increments people will increase, depending on if it's like for legs and something different.
The funny part is that, let's say bench press, free weights or bar. Someone's got 90 pounds on, so take 245 on.
Right.
So you say you put on 20 pounds. You say, well, 20 like this, or 20 pounds or the 2 tens.
2 tens, right.
Put on the 2 tens. Don't put on the 20 here
and
20 there. That's 40 pounds.
That is 40 pounds.
But when you look at those progressions, how long should you be waiting to make that move?
That's up to you.
Yeah, your body determines.
Oh,
yeah, because your body increases in strength pretty fast. You may be doing like, I don't know, 25, 30, 35 for a couple of weeks, 3 weeks, and then you're like, you know what, I'm going to bump it up another 5 pounds.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And again,
it depends on
the
how
individual.
Often, because if you're going more often, your body is
adjusting to
strengthening.
it.
It's adjusting, and your body does adjust. It's amazing thing. So I wouldn't suggest that you stay at the same weight because I know someone that used to do the same weight all the time. I'm like, what you did? No, how are you going to grow if you do the same weight all the
And that's a
time?
lot of people. It's not just that individual. There's a number of people that do that.
Yeah.
And they think that the
It's not
progressive.
growth. Your body gets used to it. It gets adjusted to it. So it's like, oh, okay, I know this. But you wanna trick your body. You wanna give it different things so that you can grow, so that you see something.
Yeah.
And yes, it's even if you're maintaining, you can maintain and still increase the weight. If you don't want to increase the weight, you can increase the intensity by holding it longer, do it slower, and not working out perhaps as often. But to just stay at the same weight forever, you're not doing anything.
Right.
You're not challenging yourself.
You're not. You're not.
And you like thinking like, oh, I can do this, I can do that.
How come I look
the
don't
same.
look it right?
5 months later, I look the same.
Exactly.
Oh, the weight goes up.
Right.
I go every day. I do this. Have you increased the weight? Have you done this? That?
Right.
It's one of those things to me. Like, sorry, I was interrupting.
Oh no, I was agreeing with you. And there are different ways to do it. You can with each set you can go up weights, like 5 more or however. You can even do just the opposite. You can have like you should be able to do the highest weight and then say in the same set, okay, I'm going to do 5 at say 20, then I'm going to do 5 at 15 and you'll see, because by the time you get down to 10, you're like, oh my gosh. And even though 10 is light, but if you're doing this back to back to back to back,
drop sets,
yes, you'll feel it.
You'll burn.
You will burn. Yeah. So there are a lot of ways.
It's the motion more than the weight, isn't it?
It's both. It's both. Yeah.
You just have to get into a drop set. If you're gonna do 4 sets at one set of 20 pounds, then you're 15, 10, or you're go heavier. But the fact is, you do that, and you say, "Oh, I can do 10 pounds."
By the time you get to that,
yeah, you be like,
yes.
So it's like, and say you get to like 15 reps and all of them,
right?
You probably like the 10, on like the 4th rep, like the 10 pounds can just hit.
Yes.
That's what
Yeah.
Yeah, man. It's just shocking your body. You're shocking the muscle, right?
Yeah.
Muscle's like, what are you doing to me?
Exactly.
It's like doing wind sprints.
Right.
You're doing 4 or 5 of them. And then you know how he's doing like, say, 50 meters.
Right.
Then 70 meters.
Right.
That's what it's like.
Oh,
Same
okay.
thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what it's like. You gotta go at the same pace.
Right.
Non-stop.
Yeah. And what I like to do sometimes, I put in some 21s. And so you're doing, so you'll do 7, it's for your bicep curls. So you do 7 all the way up and all the way down. Then you do 7 halfway. Then you do 7 and down to the middle. Yeah, you do 3 sets of that. So you're not going to you're not going to do it with really, really heavy weights.
Right.
And so if someone pulls out this weight, I'm like, please, I could do that in my sleep. It's like, okay, let's do 20 minutes. And do 3 sets.
I bet you after the 2nd set, they couldn't do the 3rd set.
She says that with a smile on her face. Right?
I know, I do like her. I do. But I know someone that likes doing pull-ups. So.
That's a lot of people that do pull-ups.
Yeah. And my last tip is to combine sound nutrition. Because that's best, and that's what you talk about every week. You talk about nutrition. Because, we have people that they're going, they're exercising, they're active, they're doing these different things, and they feel so good, and then they turn around and then they eat something that not helping your cause.
Right.
And at Energize, we do say, you can have it sometimes, foods, but don't do it all the time. Or just say, I just worked out so I can have a double queen, ice cream burger, and have it 7 times a week. You're kind of like undoing.
Undoing all that hard work.
Right. But treat yourself every now and then so you don't binge, but don't make it a habit. I worked out.
Right.
This time, some fried chicken, macaroni cheese.
What else? French fries with it, and coleslaw, and then Coke or Pepsi, or vodka and Coke.
in some people's cases.
Yeah.
Yes. So
That's
just
pretty
some
cool.
tidbits.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Good. Look forward to having you next week on the 30th.
Yes.
Day before Halloween.
Yes, indeed.
A lot of candy. A lot of sugar. There you go. All right, so we'll take a commercial break and be back after this.
Okay.
You know, Sluggo Adderley.
Okay, gentlemen.
Okay, have a good day, my friend.
Thank
Alright.
you. I
Just want
will
to shout out
see.
to this guy, Sluggo Adderley. He was one of the founding members of PAC. Passed away. Him and his brothers, Erskine and T.S. Adderley, along with some other guys, founded the U.S. Rangers.
Oh, okay. Oh, right. I just keep entertaining people. They join. They join.
Flashlight games and tarpaulin, or a $250 gift certificate.
Practical items while our claim system puts things right.
Ask for a home insurance quote.
Call Colonial on 296-3700 or visit cgigroup.com.
Offer applies to new home insurance policies only.
What time is it? It's game time. More opportunities to win. All your sports betting needs without the road trip. Introducing Game Time East and Game Time West. Located next to Wahoo's and St. George's and Main Road, Somerset by Somerset Cricket Club. All Game Time outlets open Monday to Friday 12 to 6, Saturdays 8:30 till 5, and Sundays 10 till 5. For more details, visit GameTime.pm or call 296-3222. Game Time. We play, we pay. Game Time is a socially responsible gaming establishment.
When it's time for a really satisfying meal, there's really nothing quite like chicken.
That's
You
why-
take the quality to a higher level with Coleman Organic Chicken. Coleman have been serious about clean, humane methods of chicken rearing since 1875. They insist on stringent quality control of all phases of the bird's development, and you can taste the difference. Try Coleman Organic Chicken drumsticks, thighs, tenders, and wing sections, boneless, skinless chicken breasts, whole chickens, and breaded chicken breast nuggets, tenders, and strips. Lindo's, why go anyplace else?
Now, back to Inside Sports Talk Radio. Inside Sports Talk Radio on Power 95 FM with host Ian Rollins and co-host Earl Bayston.
Well, we get to extend our time today by an extra 20 minutes. Had a number of guests in the studio today, so it's been a very entertaining day on the 23rd of October,
Yes,
2017
indeed.
Inside Sports Talk Radio. Before we wrap up, I just want to say hello, well, not to say excuse me, condolences to the Adderley family, Neil Sluggo Adderley, who passed away, and he rested in peace. We got him yesterday. He was one of the founding members. He's a great uncle of mine. He was one of the founding members of the Key West Rangers, along with his brother Erskine and Timus, and a couple of his mates. Key West Rangers. And as you know, that was found out in Montreal, which later became PNC. It was a staunch PNC man. I remember him back in the 70s when he was Somerset. And PAC used to come and play Somerset and Somerset. And
Right.
the house artists and give him his two pieces of what he thought of Somerset and PAC. So he was a good man. So that was Neil Sluggo. He's a good man and did a lot for his community. Again, he's one of the founding members of the band, Key West Rangers, and that's PAC Zebras, who ironically beat Somerset Friday night for Neil. So I guess his legacy still lives on, for that matter. And rest in peace. Neil Sluggo Adderley. Any final comments?
No, it's been a great afternoon.
Yeah.
Looking forward to greeting the under-17 women's national team when they arrive back this evening out of Miami.
Right.
Give
You
them
Gareth are heading down tonight?
I haven't heard back from Gareth yet.
Okay. All right. So we have the tomorrow's newscast.
Yes, indeed. Tomorrow morning and tomorrow night.
Tomorrow, so sorry, I meant to say tomorrow morning as well, the radio cast and tomorrow night. All right. Okay. Well, that's all the time we have here. Don Bassett, thank you again.
Thank you, Brother Don.
Thank you, guys. No problem.
We'll see you next week, Monday.
Yeah.
All right. Take care.
Radio on Power 95 FM. For those of you who missed the live broadcast, go to islandsnets.com website and get the latest on today's show, Inside Sports Talk.